Hello, everyone. I'm Latoya Cooper. I'm a breast cancer survivor and the author of Surrender to Healing Conquering Breast Cancer with Faith, Gratitude, and Confidence. I wrote my book, Surrender to Healing, based on my journey, my experience of being diagnosed with breast cancer and then going throughout the journey. I really wanted to help other women, especially our younger women that are being diagnosed in their families, with guidance and just information to help them get through the journey, as well as questions to ask and things to consider as you are going through the journey. So at the end of this segment, I will share how you can get a copy of my book and as well as how to reach me. But for now, we will talk about preparing for your first mammogram. I know for me, I have a lot of peers, within that age group where it's time for their very first mammogram. And I am often asked a lot of questions. Okay, what should I prepare? How should I prepare? What to expect? And the big one, will the mammogram hurt? So we're going to touch on all of these key points. And I wrote some notes down just to make sure I hit on everything I want to share with you. So if you're going for your first mammogram, please tune in, share it with your friends and family. And if you're someone who have already had a mammogram, please share your tips and some of the strategies please share your tips and some of the strategies that you use as you prepare for your mammogram appointments. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And one of the very first things that usually you're reminded of when you're going for your mammogram is to make sure you do not wear any deodorant, perfume, lotion, ointment, anything anything in your chest area, and that includes under your arms. The thing about this is that they want to make sure they're able to get clear imaging. If you have on lotion, deodorant, perfume, that could potentially mess up the imaging. So make sure when you schedule your appointment, it's a time where you're able to go and because you will not be wearing anything. No, excuse me, you will not be wearing any like lotion, deodorant, or anything in your upper body until after the appointment. So that's the very first thing I wanted to share. The second thing with that in mind is make sure you wear a two-piece outfit, something that will allow you to easily slip on and off the top piece, and you can still have something on the bottom piece because you will have to remove your shirt as well as your bra. You'll be going to a gown, but when you go into the mammogram room, they'll need clear access to each of your breasts in order to do the examination. So two-piece outfit, something that's comfortable, that you're comfortable with, and that you can easily slip into and out of. The other thing is when scheduling your mammogram, and you can talk with the scheduler about this, make sure you consider your menstrual cycle. Usually you want to try to schedule your mammogram a week after your menstrual cycle, just because of the hormonal changes and all the things that goes on during your menstrual cycle. So if you're still menstruating, consider your cycle when you're scheduling your mammogram, and you can talk with the scheduler or the doctor who is scheduling you about all of this. The next thing is, this is important, is to make sure you get to know your family history. This will help you to not only prepare for your mammogram, but it will also help you to prepare for those questions that you may have. Talk to your gynecologist, share your family history, get to know your family history. And it's important, and it's important because this will help determine how often you may need to go in for a mammogram, or if there's certain things that you may want to look out for, if there's certain risk factors that should be taken into consideration as you go in for these screenings. So that's important regardless if you're getting a mammogram or not. Get to know your family history, and not just your breast health history, but the full history of your family when it comes to medical, both your paternal and your maternal side. Talk with your gynecologist and ask any questions that you may have. One of the biggest things I share with anyone is no question is a stupid question. So make sure you ask every single question that comes to mind. And some of the things that you can ask, what is my risk of developing breast cancer? And this will also go tie in with your family history, because by knowing this, you can share it with your doctor, and they can share certain risk factors that you may need to be aware of. Also, prepare for potential discomfort during the exam. Some people experience discomfort, so make sure you prepare for that. Each of your breasts will be placed in between I'm going to call it a plate or a pad, and it's going to slowly come down on your breast so that it can squeeze it and receive imaging from the top as well as the sides. So just be prepared for some level of discomfort. Um, every person is different. Some people experience no discomfort, others experience more discomfort. So just be prepared for that. And also, the way you're going to be standing, you're going to be hugging a machine. I call it a hug. So you'll be hugging a machine. And as I mentioned, each of your breasts will be taken one at a time. So just, be prepared for that. And then mammograms, they usually don't take long, usually about 15 to 30 minutes. And sometimes it may take a little longer if you're called back for ultrasound, which is another type of screening or imaging that is taken if the mammogram is not clear enough, or if there's just certain areas they just want to look at. And I'm going to share about the callback shortly. And the technician will guide you through the process. So if you have any questions as you're going through the process, before you begin the process, just ask. Like, ask. I know sometimes it may feel uncomfortable or you're not sure if you should ask, but just let it go. Just talk. Just ask the question. And the technician is there to help guide you through the process as well. And then the first mammogram will serve as your baseline for any future mammograms. This will be your baseline, but also it will allow them to compare your body from year to year, or compare your breast from year to year, to see if there's any changes that are occurring, or if there's anything that they potentially may need to watch out for, or to tell you to monitor as well. And one of the biggest things I share for a tip is that after your mammogram, like, treat yourself, take yourself to lunch, do something nice, because as you're preparing for a mammogram, sometimes it can be stressful. You can have that overwhelming feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm going in for a mammogram. For first timers, there's the added stress of, I don't know what to expect, what to do, how it's going to be. There's so many things rushing through your mind, your thoughts. And even for me, for someone who's had several mammograms now, there are times where I still feel a little overwhelmed. But the most important thing is I remember that mammograms save lives. This is a screening. It's a part of my yearly health evaluation. It's important for me to know what's going on with my body, especially as a breast cancer survivor. So just think of those things. These are the reasons why you're doing it. You're doing it, hey, mammogram screening, potentially to save my life. I'm doing it for my health. I'm doing this so I can know what's going on with me. Those are all the positive reinforcements that will help you to get through your very first mammogram. And then wrap it up with taking yourself out to eat, treating yourself to something nice, doing something nice for yourself, and just take a load off. You know what? Also sounds good? A good massage, like right after the mammogram. Treat yourself. So before moving on, or before ending, I also wanted to share a few tips as well, because this is something that may be fairly common. Sometimes a callback may be received for a mammogram, and then sometimes while you're there, you may be, they may ask, hey, they may say they need to take additional screenings or do another test, such as an ultrasound, which I mentioned before. I share this because callbacks, they're fairly common, and going in for ultrasound may be, that may be something that occurred too. The main thing I want to share is don't be alarmed. Just go ahead, take the imaging, ask your questions. Hey, why are we doing this? Usually, they'll share with you, hey, either they'll share with you the reason why. I don't want to, speculate and put any reason whys out there, but the technicians will share with you the reason why. So don't be alarmed. And then just remember, as I mentioned before, that mammograms, they are a screening mechanism. It may or may not detect breast cancer. However, it does give you the option, it is that option there so that they can look into your breast to see what's going on. And then make sure you check your breast. And the most important thing is to get to know your own body. So do your self breast exams. I believe in self breast exams. I just want to share that. I believe that self breast exams do help save lives, especially for women. You know, mammograms are you can start getting mammograms at the age of 40 unless you have a family health history. So for women before 40, one of the best ways to screen yourself is to do a self breast exam. So make sure you do your monthly self breast exams, usually 7 to 10 days after your cycle ends. That gives your body a chance to resettle and give your breast a chance to get back to its normal state. But most importantly, ladies, get to know your body. Know what your breast feels like during your cycle, but also know what it feels like when you're not in your cycle, outside of your cycle. Get to know your body, get to know your breast, check underneath your arms, check underneath your neck. Just keep an eye on yourself. And that way, if something does pop up and something just doesn't feel right, you can go and get it checked out. Also, as I mentioned, so mammograms save lives, self breast exams save lives. And this is so important. Please, please, please do not allow fear to stop you from checking up on your own health. There's many times where I hear women say, you know what, I didn't go because I was afraid of what I will find out. Well, what about what you don't find out, right? So whatever you do, don't allow fear to stop you from checking up on your own health. And most importantly, if you're afraid to go to a mammogram on your own, check in with one of your best friends or a family member and see if they will go with you. Share, hey, I just want some extra support. I'm going to do this, but I want some extra support. Can you come along with me? But whatever you do, ladies, just please take the time to check up on yourselves. It only takes about 15 to 30 minutes out of your day. One time of year, check up on yourself. So I wanted to share those with you. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat and I will be checking on those as well. And also, before I go, you can find my book at surrendertohealingbook.com. I share in here, as I mentioned before, my journey through breast cancer, but most importantly, it's a guide for life to just help you as you go out through life and also to help those who are either if you're in the breast cancer journey or your loved ones are. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.